hair. He's driving me crazy. Oops, look at this. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Hello, what's good? Welcome back. As you guys can see, Alexandra's back too with, I think, by far my favorite press-on nails that I've had all this whole entire time. I love these. I love these. I love these so much that I ended up buying like 10 of them. Anyway, you're here because today we are ranking the palettes that I used in the month of April, you guys, the month of April. This is a very interesting array of palettes, I gotta say. I'm actually excited that I got to play around with some of these because some of these I really didn't like hone down on. All right, so if you're interested to see what my top and my bottom are, not that way, but you know what I mean. Stay tuned. Okay, if you're new to this is where I rank any palette that I have tried that has not gotten a designated video throughout the month. So if I did do a specific get ready with me with it, comparison, swatch video, using it for the first time, first impression kind of thing, it's not going to be in this ranking video. These are palettes that I'm either using constantly, I pulled out of my collection, or I actually got that are new that I am putting in this ranking that I did not do a separate video for. All of these palettes, I think all these palettes exception of one came into my life in January, so I finally got around to play around with it, but the other ones are in my collection, and you'd be surprised. All right, you guys, I don't have any that are leaving my collection in this ranking, but somebody had to be at the bottom, somebody had to be at the top, and if that video has not come up already, I do have an eyeshadow palette declutter video coming up because I do have some palettes that I do want to get rid of, but that's not this video. So don't click off until I'm done, and then you can watch that one if it's up. All right, you guys, let's get into our top and bottoms. All right, so this month I had seven eyeshadow palettes. As you guys know, I am trying very hard to not only use my palettes, but also use my singles and eyeshadow, cream eyeshadow thing. So I'm giving everyone an opportunity to play, including my Pando's eyeshadow. So I don't ever see myself having more than 10 palettes a month, if that, because obviously I can only use so much eyeshadow in a month. And the more we get into the warmer weather, the less eye products I use. It's just the nature of the game. All right, so number seven has to go to this one. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade palette. I got this one when it first launched, like when it was one of the first releases. She re-released it with better quality shimmers in here because the shimmers are not the best, and every one of these palettes you're going to see swatches of. So this is what this palette looks like, and the reason why it's a number 7 is more so because of the shimmers. The mattes in here are beautiful. I love this whole entire color story. I just have to really work hard on these shadows. You might be able to see like how much I've dip my finger in here. They get hard pan. These are so firmly pressed, it's ridiculous. And she was aware of that, so she re-released it. And for those that purchased it, I just never bothered to get the new ones because I was just like, at that time I had so many palettes. I still have so many palettes, but I didn't really care to, and I've just made this work. The one shadow I really like is this one, and that's the one that has the hardest time picking up, but the more I've been working at it, the better it's been getting. So it is at the bottom for that reason. It makes me work a little bit harder, but I do love this color story. And these 3 mattes right here, including this matte right here, that's another, just a regular matte. It's beautiful. I really do like this palette. It's a shame she didn't do it right the first time because I think it would have had more success. And it is a very beautiful spring palette. I'm happy that I was able to pull it out and play with it, but it is at the bottom of the barrel because I just worked really hard to make those look really nice. Number 6 goes to this one. This is the Wayne Goss, the Luxury Eye Palette in Amber. I got this one in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. Completely on my eyes with the exception of maybe 2 shadows for my Pando's eyeshadows. But this is the palette that I have on my eyes. It is beautiful. The reason why it's at the bottom of this whole entire account, and it's number 6, is because it's nothing revolutionary. This eyeshadow formula, it's nice. It reminds me of your staple ones that you can count on, ones that work for anyone and everyone that you encounter. So I can't see anybody not really liking these, and I'm gonna explain to you why. This formula reminds me of MAC. It reminds me of Smashbox, Makeup Forever, like those kind of brands where they're staple. You can depend on those shadows, but they're not super pigmented and they're more buildable. So that's how these shadows are. When you put your brush in here and you start to blend in your eyes, they're soft, but they are blendable. So you're not getting a full impact in the beginning. So I can see a lot of people being able to work with this palette. Like this formula, it reminds me of MAC eyeshadows. Like the first brand I thought of was MAC eyeshadow palettes, or eyeshadows in general, where they're very firmly pressed. You get a little bit of kick up, and you don't get a lot on your brush in the beginning, but you can build it up to make it look nice. This is a nice formula for makeup artists, for those that don't want such an impact, those that don't want those pure saturated shadows. Sometimes I don't want those shadows. Sometimes I need something quick to the point where I can depend on it, go on and move on with my life. That's why I put this down at the bottom, mainly because I was expecting something else from his brand. I don't know, like maybe it's just because I've watched him for so many years. I was expecting something revolutionary, and it's not bad, you guys, not bad. If I were to get another palette, that he has another warm tone palette, 6 pan, that I would like, and then that's it. But this isn't not a brand that I'm running out to get the next latest and greatest, because it reminds me of like MAC and Smashbox and Makeup Forever, and I love those brands, don't get me wrong. I can depend on them. I can come out with a beautiful look that stays on my eyes, does not fade, build it up, make it soft. I could do whatever I want with it and always depend on these shadows, but it's just like, I already have these. It's nothing new to me, so I'm like, okay. So I would only like another one of these palettes. I like this one a lot. I'm happy I got this color range, and then there's another one where it has all these warm saturated colors that I think I would like, but then that's it. There's nothing really more to say. This shade is beautiful. That's what I'm wearing all over my lid. It is beautiful, and it builds up really nice. You get a little bit of fallout, but it's beautiful. So I do like this one. I'm happy I got it and I was able to test it out, but it's nothing where I'm just like, wow, amazing. If you own MAC, if you own Makeup Forever shadows, if you own Inglot shadows, those kind of shadows where you know that they're like the staple, the moms of the makeup brands, where you know you can depend on them, they're always there, they can help you out in a rush, in a beautiful, intricate look, whatever it is that you're looking for, they're there for you. That's what these brands remind me of, like the mom of makeup. Number 6 goes to this puppy right over here, Natasha Denona Mini Tropic. This one I had a lot of fun with. I did a whole look using just the purple shade. I did a look using the blue and the green together. This palette, I really like the colors of it, but it's more of a palette, and why it's at the bottom is because it's more of a palette where it's not a standalone palette for me. It's more of a companion palette. This specific one, I do own the bigger one, which I can use on its own, but this one particularly, I'm more of pulling 1 or 2 shades out of it, or even one shadow just to do with a look. It's not something where I would use all these shades all in one look. It's not really what I would go for. I love this purple all over the lid, into my crease, done. This shadow into the inner corner, done. Like the same thing with these blues and greens. I like to use them for outer V, for accent shades, but it's not necessarily a palette that I'm going to use standalone, something that I'm not going to grab all the time. So that's why it's at the bottom. Not so much because I don't like the formula, I don't like the colors in general. It's just, it's not a standalone palette for me, but I did have fun using it. I did enjoy using it, and I did have a blast incorporating it into my other looks. Number 5 goes to the other one. I've been trying to use a lot of more of my higher end palettes, hence the reason why there's a declutter coming. I neglect a lot of my higher end palettes because I'm always using my other ones and the quality isn't the best. Why am I struggling with crappy ones when I have good ones? So that's why I'm pulling all these out. This is the mini Zendo palette. Now I do like the normal Zendo. It was very misunderstood. It's not a palette where you're going to get shimmers and glistening and all that stuff. It was a soft, subtle kind of palette. It's not for the everyday person that wants that glam and metallic-y and whatever in your face. So this palette is at number 5 because I felt like it was comparing it to its big one. This one's very monochromatic. I do like it, but I'm always going to have a peachy, purpley look. No matter which way I put it, it's gonna have a peachy tone to it. It's gonna have something of that nature. And I personally don't care for this kind of like silvery, taupey, gray kind of color. It's just not my vibe. It's not something I want to reach for all the time. So then I'm left with this peachy one right here. So it's always gonna end up looking like a peachy look. So for me, it was very like just one way. It was a one-way thing. no matter which way I did, it's always going to be the same color stories. I wish they would have been there was a little bit more variety to it. So for me, this is more like a 2 shadow look kind of palette, not so much like using it all together. I do like it, quality is good, but it's just, it left me wanting more every time I used it. All right, number 4 goes to this one. This one is in a project pan, and typically I do not put these in a project pan, but it's in more of like no pan left behind. So I was already using it beforehand, to be honest with you. The next 2 palettes, this one and the next. So I'm counting them in because I already had intentions of using these throughout the month. So this is the ColourPop Candy Castle one. This was kind of like a play on the Candyland. Obviously they couldn't use Candyland as the name, but it's a beautiful pastel palette. This was something that I bought when it was on sale at a last minute thing. It wasn't something that caught me right away, but I liked it because it had softer muted looks. And believe me, this palette shocked me. Shocked me. A lot of you guys liked when I mentioned that this is what I was wearing on my eyes in that video. I believe it was my Deca panning video, my last update. I had this on my eyes, and quite a few of you said you liked my eye look. I was shocked at how beautiful this is. This isn't very white based pastels. It actually has color to them, so I can use them more often and not feel like I'm just stuck in a certain time of the year where I have a tan and then I can't use pastels that are white based. This one I can. Beautiful looks I came out with this one. I really like the color story. I really like how everything came out on it. I had a lot of fun using this one. I could bring, like, I have deepening shades, which I appreciate. I have these softer shades, and even this yellow and green showed up. They came to play. They came to do something. It wasn't just a light wash where I had to build it up constantly and then it looked chocolate. Absolutely not. It was really, really nice. I had so much fun using this one. This is why it is at number 3, because it just really wowed me. It really, really did. Number 2 just brought it up just a notch higher. This is the ColourPop Sailor Moon. This was gifted to me by one of you guys, and I'm happy again that I was able to bring it into a project pan, as well as I genuinely just wanted to use it on my own. So I was able to use all these shades again, and wow, I could do very soft looks in here, and then these genuinely pack a punch. Oh my goodness, you want color into your looks with these soft shades, you're gonna get them. These do not disappoint at all. There's not one shade in here that I just was not liking. Even this one, I feel like it's not really a full-on glitter. It's more like a Super Shock kind of glitter. Has more glitter than a normal Super Shock, but I was able still to work with it, and it's a beautiful palette. Really liked it. It livened my days up, you guys. It is nonstop raining. Like, I mean, it's still raining as we speak. It rained yesterday. It rained the day before. It is nonstop raining in our area, and we're always in a drought, though. I always say we're always in a drought. So this just livened my days up. It just made me more awake, more excited for what's to come after all the rain is gone. It's just a beautiful palette. I'm so happy that this was given to me. Thank you very much. It's one of my fun palettes. Like, I wanted this one. I bought it, but then somebody else took it, and then one of you guys sent it to me. So I really, really do appreciate it. I had fun using this. This is number 2. I really like this one a lot. And the number 1 spot goes to something that surprised me. Very much surprised me. That is the mini retro, you guys. Mini retro. Wow. Every time I reached for this one. Last month I had a mini Natasha Denona as one of my favorites, and now this month I have one as a mini as one of my favorites. I really like this one. It allowed me to go different ways without me getting bored. I could do like that peachy pink. I could do a soft pink. I could do a green with the pink. It just, every time I did a look, it looked very ethereal, beautiful. This shade is by far my favorite in the whole entire palette. The green in here is just enough where it shows up green, but it's not so in your face. It's such a beautiful, versatile mini palette. Really nice. Did a great job curating this one. This is definitely one of my top favorites of the mini ones. Really liked it. So of course it had to be number 1 for this month. All right, you guys, I always like to let you guys know what palette was not touched before I did this ranking video. And I will tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of the 7 palettes that I had this month were never touched before this. This is why I like doing these kinds of videos, because I feel like I can just shop my stash, enjoy what I have, and kind of duping the vibes of what's going out in this in the world of makeup, the new releases, and I don't have to spend money on them. I got my pastel quench and thirst that I wanted. The soft looks, the vibrant looks, the colorful looks, the muted looks. I got whatever I wanted in here and I really enjoyed it. I had a blast. I really did have a blast using these. None of these are leaving my collection. As of right now, all of these are staying in my collection. There is nothing here worth me letting go of. So I'm happy to say that as well, because I feel like it's opening up my eyes to see more of my collection and see what is it that I'm really wanting to reach for and what is it that I'm willing to let go of that it's time to let go of. So that's all that I have for you guys today. I will link and list these all down in the description box. So if you're interested in checking any of these out, if they are still available, do you boo. If not, just shop your stash, see what you got. See what vibes you can come up with. And yeah, May. Woohoo! We are in May. Let's see what we come up with this month. Thank you guys again for all of your support. More videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, peace out.